Soulframe is a beautiful new game in development from Digital Extremes, the makers of Warframe. Here's everything you need to know to get started in this incredible open-world adventure. Soulframe is still in its alpha phase, which means frequent changes make every prelude better than the last. If you want more information on anything I discuss here, I'll put this tutorial in a playlist with videos that cover individual topics in more depth. So with that out of the way, welcome to Soulframe. You are now an Envoy, a protector and healer of the planet Alka. The game's opening cinematic will lead you through choosing the appearance of your mother, and your Envoy will inherit her physical traits. This scene is called the Warsong's Fable, and you can replay it from your codex if you want to change your appearance later. Soulframe's story involves an alien race known as the Ode invading Alka to exploit its resources and reshape the planet to their liking. Through something called the Spell Song, the Ode turned the magic of Alka against itself, causing everyone affected to forget themselves in its corruption. You must now fight that corruption, reclaiming lost histories and restoring Alka's natural magic. As soon as you arrive on Midrath, the beautiful island that is our setting for Soulframe Preludes, the game will prompt you to choose your pact. Pacts are the source of your special abilities in Soulframe, known in-game as Arcanics. Pacts manifest on your Envoy's Fey-touched right arm, and you will be able to freely swap between all the pacts you obtain. For now, the game will ask you to choose your starting pact. Each of the 3 starting pacts is aligned with a virtue and a faction. You'll want to level up all of Soulframe's factions eventually, so I wouldn't worry about this just yet. Pacts do have armor stats, which includes a bonus to its aligned virtue, but this boost isn't large enough to lock you into a specific build. Each pact also comes with a starting weapon, but you get the other starting weapons very early on in-game. You can also eventually get the other starting pacts, but it will take much longer than getting new weapons, so make your choice here based on the pact you're most excited to play. Let's take a closer look at those choices. Sirin is a great pact for people who enjoy stealth and strategy. Its 3 Arcanics are Glamour, which transforms you into a flock of butterflies, making you invisible. Trick of the Light, which summons a decoy to taunt enemies, then explodes, dealing AoE damage, and Pictrix Powder, an AoE crowd control ability. Oscelda is a support-oriented pact. Its 3 Arcanics are Elder Bloom, which plants a flower that will heal all allies within range, Phantom Flock, which summons a flock of birds to crowd control an enemy, and Bestone, which will turn enemies into stone and deal extra damage to them when you break the stone with an attack. Tethren is perfect for aggressive fighters. Its 3 Arcanics are Fellust, which gives you a stacking damage buff, Call of the Ancients, an aura that gives you an AoE taunt and a flat damage buff, and Clash, which staggers enemies around you and enhances your stability. Once you select your pact, only one of your 3 abilities will be unlocked. Arcanics unlock and get stronger as you level the pact, so don't judge your pact until you get it to level 30. All of the starting pacts are quite strong, although Tethren has the highest skill floor of the 3. As you level your pact, you'll also gain arts that you can spend on upgrades, which will enhance your pact abilities or boost your virtues. Virtues are Soulframe's 3 character stats: Courage, Spirit, and Grace. Virtues affect most pact Arcanics, and they affect weapon damage. When it comes to pacts, in most cases, Courage increases ability strength, Spirit increases ability duration, and Grace increases ability range. That said, every pact and every Arcanic is a bit different, and some pacts have unique scaling mechanics, so this is just a general rule. Each of Soulframe's weapons is attuned to a virtue, and its damage will scale with the virtue it's attuned to. There are caps to this scaling, but as a new Envoy you can safely put the virtue points you get into your weapon's attuned virtue to increase its damage. You also get plus 10 life for every allocated virtue point, regardless of which virtue you spend it on. Your Envoy starts with 4 virtue points automatically assigned to the virtue aligned with your starting pact. You get more virtue points by increasing your Envoy's rank, which you do by leveling new pacts and weapons. You can freely change your virtue point allocations whenever you enter Nightfold. Nightfold is a sort of pocket dimension where you can swap your gear, change your build, and interact with your ancestors. This bookshelf in the back of your tent is where you can access your build interface. You won't have a sidearm right away when you start, but you can craft one pretty early on. Once you do, you'll be able to equip it here, and then swap between your main weapon and your sidearm during combat. You can allocate your virtues here using the plus and minus buttons to add or remove points. This is your Pacts interface, where you can swap between the packs you've collected. Clicking the Upgrade button will let you spend arts on Pact upgrades. In Preludes 11, this is your Combat Arts interface, which I won't talk about much in this video because we know this system is being phased out. A future update will give us an entirely new Combat Arts system. For now, just know that you can reset your arts at any time to try out different bonuses, so go ahead and experiment with each of the upgrades. That said, there are some combat mechanics that are good to know right from the start. Both melee and ranged weapons have a basic attack and a heavy or charged attack. Heavy and charged attacks will break through enemy blocks, and enemy heavy attacks will break through your block, so when you see an attack flash with a golden glow, make sure you dodge. Melee weapons can also be thrown by using block and your melee throw button, and if you attack before recalling your weapon, your Envoy will perform an unarmed strike. You can also kick in close combat, which will stagger your enemy. Bows have a basic shot, a charged shot, and an AoE attack called Arrow Hail. If you hold a drawn arrow until it flashes with light, it becomes a charged shot and it will deal more damage than a basic shot. Basic shots and hails will embed arrows in terrain or targets. The first combat art for bows causes charged shots to splinter nearby embedded arrows. Flyblades are a relatively new sidearm with 2 attack types. You can throw the blades, or you can send them orbiting around you. Attacks in Soulframe deal both damage and stability, which the Soulframe community generally refers to as Stagger because stability is also the name of one of your armor ratings. This red bar shows your Envoy's health, and the white bar shows the amount of Stagger you've taken. When you block an attack, you will only take Stagger instead of damage. The amount of Stagger your Envoy can take is determined by your stability rating, which can be enhanced by both your gear and some Pact abilities. When your Stagger bar fills, you will be knocked prone. Filling an enemy's Stagger bar makes them vulnerable to a finisher, a special attack that deals massive damage. If you perfectly time a block with an incoming attack, you'll parry that attack, which deals Stagger to your enemy. If you have the riposte combat art for the weapon you're using, you can follow a parry with an attack input to perform a special counterattack. Magic weapons do have a block, but they cannot parry. If you perfectly time a dodge to avoid an incoming attack, a golden glow on your character will indicate a perfect dodge. If you have the Spectre Strike combat art on the weapon you're using, you can follow a perfect dodge with an attack input for another special counterattack. If an enemy has a gray health bar, that means your attacks are not powerful enough to defeat it, but this is calculated for each incoming attack, so things like buffs from Pact Arcanics can make a gray bar turn red. When you take damage in melee combat, you'll see this yellow bar appear when you lose health. This is your health regain window. Performing a melee attack while this window is active will allow you to regain that amount of health. You can also heal using health potions. These drop from enemies, or you can buy them from Avocot. You can only hold 5 at a time, so remember to heal up after every fight. Instead of critical hits, Soulframe has smites. When you smite an enemy, you'll hear this sound effect and see the enemy's soul glow on its body. When a soul is made vulnerable by a smite, you can hold down your soul mode button and perform a basic attack to steal that soul. If you don't like this input combo, you can change your keybinds here, or customize your controller here. Any in-game prompts will show you tips using your customized inputs. Each soul will have a color that corresponds with one of your virtues, just like your Pact Arcanics, and when you steal a soul from a smite, it will recharge the Pact ability of the corresponding color. The Soul Steal input combo is also how you kill Mockeries, free defeated Hounds, and retrieve Motes from points of interest, which translates some lore in your codex and gives you some experience towards your Envoy rank. This is also how you charm animals to get totems. Run up to an animal and press your Soul Steal input combo. Your Envoy will pull out a Fipple flute, and successfully playing the charming song rewards you with one of the animal's totems. You'll also get some harmony, which you use to upgrade totems. You can equip totems in Nightfold by right-clicking on your weapon, selecting a totem slot, and then choosing the totem you want to equip. Each totem has 3 different bonuses, and the bonus you get depends on which slot you equip it in. You can see your Envoy's armor rating here in your Nightfold. Your physical armor reduces the amount of damage you take from physical attacks, and your magic armor reduces the amount of damage you take from magic attacks. This is the stability rating we talked about earlier. Enemies have armor too, so some will be much tankier than others. If you die in combat, your soul revives as the Sparrow at the nearest shrine. You can fly back to your body to pick up where you left off, or revive at the shrine if you'd rather have a fresh start. If you press spacebar or right trigger as the Sparrow, you'll fly faster. Alright, so you're ready to take on the Ode as you explore Midrath. It's time to go find your ancestors. Ancestors are allies that you add to your Nightfold through completing Fables, which are Soulframe's story quests, although not all Fables give you new ancestors. Some Fables start automatically after a previous Fable is completed, while others must be triggered by picking up an item or by entering a specific location. Pressing G on keyboard and mouse, or this button on controller, will summon your Sparrow, who will guide you towards your current objective. If your Sparrow hovers in place, you might need to track your Fable. Open your journal by pressing J on keyboard and mouse, or by bringing up your menus with this button on controller or pressing Escape on keyboard and mouse. Then select Journal at the top and click on the Fable you want to track. Your Sparrow will now lead you to the next objective in that quest. It is possible to have more than one Fable active at a time, and your Sparrow will guide you towards whichever one you're tracking. If you're tracking a Fable and your Sparrow still hovers in place when you summon her, then you might need to search the area to find something or solve a puzzle before proceeding. Entering Soul Mode will cause quest objectives to glow, making them easier to find, and will sometimes reveal hidden clues. If you want your Sparrow to guide you to a specific location, you can right-click your map and set a waypoint, and she will guide you there. Your first Fable is called Rise, Envoy. This automatically appears in your journal when you start the game, and it will prompt you to check out your Nightfold, then lead you to a world tree. These are giant trees corrupted by the Ode, and healing them will reveal a portion of your map. Your next Fable is called the Last Pensive, and your Sparrow will lead you towards it right after you heal your first world tree. It appears in your journal as soon as you get close to this huge tower. Through this Fable, you'll recruit Orlick the Scribe. Make sure you loot this chest when you're fetching his quill, because this is how you get the other starting weapons. Your Sparrow will guide you through finding the quill and returning to Orlick. Anytime you finish an Ancestor Fable, make sure you go to Nightfold and walk towards the glowing light you'll see there, which will make that Ancestor's platform rise from the water. Orlick doesn't do much in your Nightfold just yet, but his role will be expanded in future updates. When you leave Nightfold after finishing the Last Pensive, this cutscene will automatically begin the Torment Stag, Soulframe's next main story quest. Part of this Fable takes you very near the starting location of the Steelsinger, the Fable that will add Tuvalcane to your Nightfold. Tuvalcane is your blacksmith who helps you craft new gear, so this is definitely worth the detour. When you exit the Undercity after retrieving the totem during the Torment Stag, turn left and head up the hill. Follow the lightning bolts to find a helm on the ground. Picking up this helm will start the Steelsinger Fable. Track the Fable in your journal and follow your Sparrow until you reach Tuvalcane. Completing the Steelsinger gives you a fragment for Nettle, your first sidearm, as well as the materials you'll need to craft it. Talk to Tuvalcane in your Nightfold to open your crafting interface and craft the weapon. Crafting new weapons and armor requires materials, plus either fragments for the weapon you want to make, or visions of the armor you want to make. The number of fragments or visions required is determined by the rarity of the item, and you can get them from enemy drops, Fable rewards, and faction shops. You can also reforge weapons to add joinery, which will boost their stats, but I do not recommend doing this as a new Envoy. Reforging will use up your crafting materials, so for now focus on crafting new weapons and save reforging for later. Crafting does take some time to complete, and while you can spend arcs to make it finish instantly, I do not recommend doing so. You'll want to spend your arcs on other things later on. For now, return to Midrath and finish the Torment Stag Fable. Completing the Torment Stag rewards you with the vision for a new pact, Garen Rude. Pacts also need to be crafted with Tuvalcane, but all of them require you to increase your bond with her to rank 3. Future Sarah here. Despite the crafting interface showing a bond 3 requirement when I was bond 1, I was actually able to craft both Garen Rude and Orengal at bond 2. I'm not sure which is intended, so for now just check in with Tuvalcane whenever you have crafting materials and see what you can actually craft. Your bond increases every time you claim a crafted armor piece or a crafted weapon, so long as it's not a duplicate of a weapon you've already made. So make sure you craft new weapons whenever you can. If you don't have enough inventory slots to claim a finished weapon, you can buy more here, or you can sell a weapon you've already leveled up and don't want to keep. Inventory slots and pact slots cost arcs, which will become Soulframe's premium currency. After the Torment Stag is complete, you'll get a new fable called an Invitation. This will introduce you to your starting faction. Each faction has its own mini-quest to gain entry to its faction enclave. The Silent Rose wants some booze that you can find in a chest here. Alka's Children needs an offering of a Sangalia flower at this shrine. And Kith of Kings needs you to defeat a ghost that spawns here, but only at night. You can enter all 3 enclaves, but the faction representative inside will only speak to you if you have that faction's talisman. You already have the talisman for your starting faction, and you'll find fragments for the others as you complete Fables and Faction Tales. When you talk to your faction representative, you can ask about your standing, which will show you your rank within your faction. You can increase your rank by doing Faction Tales. These are quests of varying lengths given by faction NPCs that appear on Midrath after you've completed an invitation. Tale NPCs spawn with a star rating that indicates the length of the tale they offer. The amount of standing you get for each faction tale depends on both the level of the enemies in the tale and the length of the tale. So, 1-star tales in low-level areas give the least amount of standing, and 3-star tales in high-level areas give the most amount of standing. Your standing cap's at 5,000, so once you've hit that cap, go back to your faction enclave, talk to your faction representative, ask where you stand, and click Rank Up. You can swap factions once you've crafted the talisman for the faction you want to switch to, but the crafting recipe for talismans requires Sacred Shimmer. You can buy this material from any faction shop, but you have to be rank 3 to purchase it, and it costs 3,000 standing. You'll be better off maxing out your starting faction first, since there are several other items you'll want to buy from your faction shop before you swap, including a new pact you can buy at rank 5. There's a 1-week cooldown on faction swapping, so once you do decide to switch, you'll have to wait 7 days before you can swap again. Faction tales can lead you all over Midrath, and sometimes they will take you into one of Soulframe's procedurally generated instances, the Undercity of Durmak and the Glades of Andoran. These are essentially Soulframe's dungeons, accessible through several entrances all over Midrath. You can enter them even if you don't have a faction tale, and you'll find a rare chest at the end if you go all the way through. There are 3 more fables you can complete in Soulframe Preludes 11, the Shewolf Snared, Brewer of Hues, and the Waste Bear. The Shewolf Snared can be started by opening a chest beneath a red balloon and reading the note you find inside. The red balloons can spawn in several different areas, so keep your eyes open for it as you travel Midrath. Completing this fable will give you the vision for the Orengal Pact. Brewer of Hues begins when you enter the Glades of Andoran through the entrance under this giant tree. This fable will add Verminia to your Nightfold, who will help you customize your armor cosmetics through Figments, Soulframe's armor dyes, and Bestitching, Soulframe's transmog system. The Waste Bear is our most recent addition to Soulframe. It starts as soon as you finish Brewer of Hues, and completing it will give you the vision for Bromius, another pact. Bromius, Orengal, and Garenrud are Soulframe's 3 Omen beasts, magical guardians of Midrath, although we know more Omen beasts will be added in future updates. Completing the Waste Bear will also unlock access to Neath'uns, another procedurally generated dungeon. Once you've gotten to the Waste Bear, you're well past new player territory, but there's still even more for you to enjoy in Soulframe. This video will tell you all about the Crypt of the Circade, which it turns out is a permanent addition to the game. When you watch that video, you'll know why I'm clarifying that. This video will tell you all about world bosses, which you can kill once every 3 hours for special loot drops. And this video will tell you all about runes, which give your weapons a massive power boost. If this guide was helpful for you, please consider subscribing to my channel. I post weekly Soulframe content, including tutorials for new systems and build guides for packs and weapons. If you're an experienced Envoy already, thank you so much for watching and supporting my channel. Leave your best tips for new Envoys in the comments below. And until next time, happy hunting!